If you're anything like me who likes to wander the streets of their own neighbourhood, don't mind spending weekends alone, or in fact enjoy your own company, you might have considered a solo trip. Rome was my first destination of a solo adventure that spawned from such thoughts. I like exploring and walking around aimlessly, and how much easier would it be in a city like Rome that has endless monuments that serve as living artifacts of history and is the home of some of the most beloved foods in the world like pizza, pasta and gelato. After an overnight layover from Sydney to Seoul, my journey officially began at the Incheon airport as I awaited for my 14-hour flight from Seoul to Rome. Like most people, the airport is a place of great anticipation and excitement for me as I began to imagine the days ahead, all the adventures and interesting things I'd experience. At this time, there was also an undercurrent of nervousness that prodded at my chest as it slowly began to sink in that for the first time in my life, I would have nobody to have my back in times of danger. Unknowingly, I think I tried to fight off that creeping anxiety and only focus on the good parts. I tend to worry too much about the future sometimes, and whilst there's value in being preemptive and cautious, there's also no need to overdo it so that it ruins the fun. Instead, I filled my time by watching last-minute YouTube videos on Rome travels, preparing for when I land, eating some snack and reading a book. The book I started reading was called The Defining Decade by Meg J. Desperate to gain some wisdom on what clinical psychologists and experts like Meg J think about how we should be living out our 20s, I was hooked to the book the whole plane ride, and it helped the 14-hour journey go by super fast. Arriving quite late into the evening, Rome felt more eerie than I would have liked. I clung onto my suitcase so tight my knuckles turned white, caught the train to the city centre and fast walked my way through the alleyways head down to my accommodation. When I went, it was also a time when Europe had a huge bedbug problem, so I made sure to check that was in the clear the first thing I did when I got to my room. It's not a super glamorous process, but a hugely necessary thing to check. And we're good to go. Hello, today is my first day in Rome. I just got ready, woke up actually at 4 a.m. because I couldn't sleep, but right now it's around 7:30, just before 8, and I'm about to head out and look at Rome for the first time. I'll show you the view from my window though. Cafe Tazzo d'Oro was the first stop. I was too intimidated by the Italianness of everything that I forgot to film much, but I nervously ordered my first cup of true, authentic Italian espresso and a custard pastry, the classic Italian breakfast from what I'd researched. Knowing that Italians don't like to linger too long at cafes and it's more of a drink and go culture, I made a silly and sore attempt to do the same. I gobbled the two drinks down within 5 minutes and headed for my next stop, Chile. This one was slightly bigger than the other and the staff slightly friendlier than the other also, so I ordered my second espresso and custard combo of the day and took a corner of the bar to catch my breath. I normally never put sugar in my coffee, nor order an espresso for that matter, but it only felt right to do as the locals do. The coffee was strong and the sugar left a pungent coffee lolly flavour in my mouth after drinking it. Not that I know much about Italian coffee culture, but I could definitely see the stark difference in the way we do things in Australia. Rather than a barista carefully curating your drink with love and attention like Sydney, You could see that the baristas made orders with meticulous precision in a rough but one long continuous motion that looked almost second nature to them. And because I'm no connoisseur, with a price like what it was and a decent taste I cannot fault, I was satisfied, impressed, and severely sugared out. It is currently around 9:30. I've had 2 cornettos and 2 espressos to start my morning, each at different cafes. And now I'm just roaming around the streets. I have no destination in mind, just kind of looking as I go. Everywhere is so beautiful, so yeah. I don't think any place is open at this time. Everywhere I go, I stumble upon a major attraction. So I'm kind of just finding them out one by one without preparing myself, and I kind of love it. It's so good. Right now I'm on my way to Piazza Terrazza del Pizio, and I'm just walking the stairs now. It's crazy.
What is the wind zone? I don't know, you travel around the Italy. I've just been walking around for a while for the past 2-3 hours, and taking things as I go. I don't think it's really hit me that I'm in Rome yet. Maybe it's like the 2 espresso shots getting to me. Yeah, everywhere I go there's just something historical and something you see only on Google, or postcards. And it's really crazy because I'm literally walking and then I turned to my left and then I bumped into the Colosseum, and then to my right I walked a little bit more and walked past the Pantheon. I'm not officially looking at them. I've booked my tickets for a later date, but today, which is my first day in Rome, I've kind of decided to take it chill and walk the whole area. I really wish I brought a journal with me, so I think my next step is going to go to a stationery store or something like that and buy a journal so I can write my thoughts down as I explore the city. And I think a lot does come to mind when you are surrounded by such historical monuments, so yeah, I'm keen to see what sort of inspiration and feelings emerge out of my experience walking around today. I just asked some security guards at the US Embassy where the library was, and they couldn't understand, so I just showed them my Google Maps. But they were really good looking and they were really nice. I heard some people are really mean or like standoffish, but they were really nice.
This is a sight you'll see a lot in this video and probably in the following ones as well, but going to a bookstore or a church became sort of a habit for me. Not only did I love exploring the different collections of books each place had, albeit the English section was always quite small, it also became a place I'd turn to whenever I felt the slightest bit anxious or wary of my surroundings on the street. It became a safe haven where I could relax my constantly tense body and catch my breath before I face the world again.
It is currently around 12. I've been walking around all day, so I want to go back to the hotel, but I'm just going to grab one last gelato before I go back in and rest up. Everywhere I walk there's a church, and we have that in Sydney, but not as often as this. There's literally one like every corner. Coke? Yeah. Pistachio, mango, and lemon.
This was a bookstore on one of the main roads in the city, although I can't quite remember where. It was so big and beautiful as it spanned 2 stories and had more of a contemporary feel to it. There was a pretty large collection of journals to choose from, so I also ended up buying mine from here. I chose one that was mid-sized and not too heavy, as I'd planned to be carrying it around with me in my tote bag every day for the next 3 months. I'd say that this was probably one of the most pivotal purchases of my trip altogether. It'd be a waste of breath to try and describe how beautiful and majestic the city felt this day, and especially so as I was encountering everything for the first time. And maybe it was the warmth in the air of that autumn afternoon, but I could feel the sense of certainty and stability that only such an established and historical city like Rome could possess. I was walking along the streets near the Colosseum. I think it's a famous one, something about Fiore. And yeah, it's near sunset right now in Rome. It's really nice, and all of a sudden I just kind of got emotional wave. Yeah, I think it's just unreal how I'm here in Rome. This has been something that's on my mind and in the works for like more than 6 months. And yeah, I think just a culmination of different factors all kind of surged up in me. And there was like classical music being played in the background and the sun setting, but also kind of just a huge sense of loneliness. And just the assume of how nice it would be to share this moment or these memories with other people or someone else. Yeah, I think I'm really lucky to be here. And also just how, like, the whole day I think I've just been unnecessarily wary and nervous that like I'll get pickpocketed or someone will treat me the wrong way. I've just been trying to act tough in the daytime and just keeping myself on guard 24/7. Yeah, look at the stuff around me. Isn't that crazy? With no better option in mind, I ended up going to a restaurant my Airbnb host recommended me 5 minutes from where I was staying. I ordered a refreshing mozzarella and cherry tomato salad with an iconic cacio e pepe pasta dish. The noodles were a lot thicker and less bouncier than what I was used to back home, and it was interesting trying such a staple dish in my diet in its home country. I gotta say though, it was kinda saltier than what I'd like. walk back home felt as ethereal and romantic as my day had been so far. Only now, in the mid-November breeze, the streets were illuminated by Christmas lights and storefronts, and the buskers played their acoustic serenades, and it felt like an ending credits track putting a close to my first night in Rome.